Hello, everyone that's a little bit early. Welcome. Thank you for joining. My name's Ivan Ramirez. I'll be presenting Creative HQ. So right now we're just kind of making sure that all systems are working and making sure all our documents are loaded. It's still 1:59, so we're probably going to give some people some time to join. I would say an extra 2 to 3 minutes just to give them a chance. So in the meantime, everybody's on mute. You do your thing, and I'll probably, circle back in about 2 to 3, maybe 4 minutes max. If you have any questions, or if you just want to go ahead and chat, you could use the buttons on the questions or chat. Natalia Nunez, which is Director of Sales for Creative HQ, will be managing the chat. So if you have particular questions that you want me to address, during the presentation, go ahead and put them on there now, and I'll make sure I'll read them now. Or if they happen while I'm presenting, and Natalia could either reply directly on the questions via the text, or she will even interrupt me if she feels it's a good question for everyone to listen to. So remember, you have the questions and the chat buttons to listen to. Also, while people are joining, it's 2 o'clock now. Like I mentioned, we'll probably give a little bit more time, about another 2 to 3 minutes, maybe max 5, but I would think it's probably closer to 2 to 3 minutes for people to join. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook. It's at Creative HQ Miami. If you want to go ahead and take pictures of this, post this, go ahead and tag us at Creative HQ Miami. So, and there's also a lot of good information that we're going to be filling out slowly on our social media campaign, letting you know of new things and things that are happening. So that way you could always be engaged with Creative HQ. So you could follow us at Creative HQ Miami, at Creative HQ Miami. So I'll stop talking. I'll give ourselves. So again, you can use the questions, the chat questions, and I'll just wait a couple more minutes, and then we'll probably get started very soon. Okay. Natalia, could you confirm that you see the screen and that I am changing the pages?
Yes, Ivan, everything's working fine.
Okay, perfect. All right, 2:01. We'll probably give it a couple more minutes. That's it. Thanks for your patience, everyone. I just know some people, with today's new world, people don't know how to log in yet, or it's their first one. So we'll just give a couple more minutes and give them a chance to log in or to link in, and we'll get started. And we're going to try and keep this, I would say, anywhere between minimum 40 minutes, and then we'll probably then open it up for questions at the end, where we'll go ahead and release the mics if people want to talk and ask questions. But again, you could use the questions in the chat. So it's 2:02. Give us another minute and we'll get started. Looks like some people are joining. All right, turn on my camera here and everything is back to normal. Let me put back the presentation. So again, 2:03, I hope as many people have joined. If not, then they could join as we get going. It's again, my name's Ivan Ramirez. I'll be presenting Creative HQ. I also have Natalia, who's the Director of Sales for Creative HQ. She's going to be managing the chat and the questions portion. So welcome everybody. First and foremost, want to make sure everybody's safe and healthy, and continuing to do our part to get through this this situation we're going through now. So that's the most important thing, is that I'm happy everybody that's on here is safe and healthy and doing our part. And at the same time, congratulate everyone for being active and staying engaged, and not just sitting behind and staying around for another, however long it may be, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. You're actually being engaged and being involved in the industry with webinars like this and many more that are going around. So want to welcome everybody. Very excited to discuss and to present to you Creative HQ Miami. It's something very innovative, very different, something that maybe some of you that are listening are familiar with commercial real estate, but the majority of us are probably more familiar with residential. That's kind of like the type of audience that we've been getting a lot, is a lot of residential brokers. But this is something a little bit more unique, because there's really never a Class A office condos that are available for sale in pre-construction. For that matter, even existing, it's very few, limited office condos available for sale. The majority, 90% or more, are typically built and designed for lease purposes only. So this is a cover page just to let you know a little bit of our mood boards, a little bit of our building here, and then some ideas about the name of Creative HQ. It's the first Class A creative office condo located in downtown Miami at the Nativo Miami project, which I'll be explaining a little bit more. And some of you are very familiar with a very successful project that's called Nativo Miami, and that's where Creative HQ is located. So this next slide really gives you an idea or an actual definition of what is a creative office. And that's where the name Creative HQ comes from. It's a space that falls out of the traditional layout. So what is the traditional layout? Plenty of private offices that have perimeters and cubicles. What are we used to seeing? Everybody has their own little space. You go into an office and it's just a bunch of cubicles, drywall all over the place, and everybody has their private office. That's a thing of the past. There's no more filing cabinets. There's no more even landlines, no more paper shredders, because we're going paperless. And these are open spaces that are thoughtfully designed to invoke creativity, flexibility, and collaboration. So that's a creative office space. The design and creative and construction of it are some of the things that make it unique. They're designed and built with more open floor plans or open floor spaces. They're open areas, great for bench style seating, modern office furniture such as standing desks. So think of the Starbucks that has these big, top bar desks for standing desks that people collaborate around there and sit on there. That's today's more of the furniture that's used today. Space usage and layout. It's the rise of the millennials and Generation Z in the workplace. They've encouraged employers to have more flexible layouts. They have movable walls that can be expanded or contracted, and rooms that can serve as team meeting areas and or lounges, and reception areas that can turn into a happy hour or bar area. We're more transient today. We're not standing in one office all day. We're moving. Our offices have to be much more flexible, and we basically carry all our work on our phone or our laptop, and our offices reflect that. So Creative HQ is the first building that's designed with today's office user in mind, not the old office spaces that have been built, but today's office user, which require much more open spaces, lounges, living room areas, much more transient people. And then another huge component is number 3, which is the wellness and social component. Today's office user, the younger generation, needs to be enticed, and employers need to think of how they can keep employees happy, because they need to have more wellness and social into consideration in their spaces. We need to have access to more natural light since the spaces are more open. We have to combine indoor and outdoor spaces. Living walls, vertical gardens are part of the reception areas, reception desks, outdoor work areas with plenty of seating. An important purpose of creative office space is to recruit and retain talent. We want them to be happy at the workplace, so we got to incorporate a lot of wellness and socials. And employees who feel they have control over where and how they work will feel empowered, engaged. So the typical office buildings that you're used to seeing basically just have a beautiful lobby, the restrooms, and maybe a gymnasium. That's not enough in today's office user. You got to have much more wellness and social, and we're going to be hearing about that when I go into the Nativo social component of the building that really puts into play what the social component is. Think of Google or Facebook, big complexes. What do? They create these big campuses for the employees so they can have tons of entertainment involved in their workspace. So that's what the wellness and social component will be. Location. Nothing better and more important than downtown Miami. Obviously, the most important part of the whole Metro Miami is downtown. Now, downtown, what we used to know of it is no longer what it is today. It is rising and continuing to evolve. To the left, you see a lot of the arts and culture components of downtown, which is Museum Park over here. You have the Perez Art Museum, you have the Adrian Art Center, and the Frost Science Museum. Miami was not like this as of 10 years ago. These new components have taken Miami to a whole new level as a city, where we bring in the arts and culture component to it, and it makes it a much more complete city. This is all right here in the downtown area. A huge component is the Miami World Center, a $2 billion mega project, which is really going to be full of restaurants, shopping, hotels. There's actually a JW Marriott going to be rising right over here. The actual Paramount residential tower, which also is a huge luxury component for residences in downtown, is right here. Our signature building, the 1000 Museum, Zaha Hadid, probably a lot of you saw in the news, David Beckham just purchased in there. It's extremely iconic tower, extremely pricey, right in the heart of downtown Miami. To the north of us, you see, to the east, you have the Port of Miami, extremely important. 6 million plus passengers, $1.8 billion transformation happening. It's literally across the bridge. American Airlines Arena, the best concerts, best artists, and Miami Heat, all types of events and venues are happening here at the American Airlines Arena. To the right a little bit is the Bayfront area, the Skyrise Miami, Bay Park. So you have Ultra coming there. You have all the big events also that happen here. Very well-known area, the Bayfront. And then over here you have the Miami-Dade campus. So HQ Miami is right smack in the middle. And a lot of you are familiar because Nativo Miami is right there. We are at the base of the Nativo Miami project, which is, again, a very successful project that's been on the market for a while now, or for the less than a year, and extremely successful. We are a part of that product. So we're right across from the American Airlines Arena. And this little blue line, which you see the Miami Metro Mover, is extremely important. It literally makes a left and stops right at the base of the HQ location. So this Metro Mover will take you internally into downtown, will take you over to the Brickell area, and also take you to the upper downtown neighborhood as well. Free transportation that stops right at the Freedom Tower at the Creative HQ doorstep. And literally 2.5 blocks west, this whole yellow highlight area, which is the Virgin Trains, better known as Brightline component. That is huge to South Florida. And everybody that lives here and it's in our industry knows how important this is. We are literally 2 blocks away from the Virgin Brightline station. This will take you to Aventura, which is a stop that's already approved and will start construction soon. Then it'll take you to Las Olas. Next stop is Boca, which is another approved stop and ready for construction. After that, West Palm Beach, and then eventually all the way up to Orlando and the Tampa, which are projected stops happening very soon. So Brightline, Metro Mover, downtown, you can't be better located than HQ, right smack in the middle. Accessibility, walkability, and connectivity is an important part to the office component. This slide is really showing you the importance of that. We are literally 0 miles, or right smack in the middle of downtown Miami, 0 miles to the Metro Mover, 0.3 to Brightline, Brickell Financial District, which is just next to us in downtown. We all saw that rise and where it's at today, one of the best areas in all of Miami. 3 miles to Design District, 3 miles, like I mentioned, to the Port of Miami, 6 miles to Miami Beach, and then the Miami International Airport, which is also accessible via Metro Rail. Straight from HQ, you could just hop onto the Metro Rail and land right at the Miami International Airport. So as far as location, you can't beat it. This slide gives you a little bit on the advantages of Miami and some of the importance of the amount of visitors that really look at us. So you could just read through it, but some of the ones that I like to highlight is the amount of projected visitors that will be visiting Virgin Trains or using it, or 10 million plus. Also the Miami Port, 6 million plus. The Miami Airport is 22 million arrivals, and Bayside, which is across on the water, 15 million visitors. So extremely important, the amount of visitors that visit that downtown Miami. And then what is downtown? It's known as the economic gateway of the Americas. Daytime population is over 250,000 people are transit in the downtown Miami area every day. It's the busiest and densest location in all of Miami metro area. Financial services and banks are the largest users in downtown. We have 60 international banks, 100 international alternative investment firms, and 4 of the world's largest accounting firms are in the downtown Miami. They have presence in downtown. Right there close by is the Network of the Americas. It's a massive 6-story, 750,000 square foot data center. So that's huge because of the connectivity for access to the best in technology, Wi-Fi, everything is literally at the doorsteps. We have the highest retention and we successfully attract the newest users in downtown Miami. That means that people that come to Miami, that rent or work in downtown Miami, they stay. That is 89% of them. Once they have their place in downtown, they don't move away. They don't go anywhere else. They find it, that's where they want to be. Anyone that's looking, 58% of them, of people that are looking in South Florida, wind up in Miami, in downtown Miami. And another important stat here is 350% of the people that are touring, that is an increase of 350% since 2013. So that shows you how important downtown is becoming every year, that more and more people are touring to bring their space into downtown Miami. This shows you very good recognizable brands that are in the Miami area. A lot of us are familiar with some of these brands, just to mention some: Louis Vuitton, Porsche, some of the top banks, Wells Fargo, Western Union, Banco Santander, BB&T, so Banco do Brasil. So huge corporations already have their presence in downtown. So any of your investors or people, they know that they're not being pioneers. This is already happening in downtown. Now, after all that I mentioned, this slide gives you a very good idea of how affordable we still are compared to some of the major cities, that we really have a very good opportunity to really increase in rent and our value. So right now we are approximately in the Class A downtown office market trading at around $45 to $50 a square foot. In the downtown, in these neighborhoods or in these cities, major cities in DC, it's $60 a square foot. Boston, 71, San Francisco, 71, New York City, 66. So we still have a ways to go. And trust me when I tell you, when I showed you all those things that are happening in downtown and they're already happening and more things that are coming, those numbers will start rising. For your investors, that's a good sign that we still have room to grow. Here is the best description of how you could tell the components of this mixed use project. So Creative HQ at Nativo Miami is a 51-story tower, okay? The 51 stories are made up of the Nativo residences, which is an extremely successful project, already met their milestones and their criteria for sales. They are from floor 24 all the way to 51. Great product, and from floor 24 to 51 is the Nativo residences. The hotel component is from floor 11 all the way to floor 23. So there will be a full service hotel here on 11 to 23. The Nativo Social is floors 8, 9, and 10. I talked to you about what makes HQ different besides the location that I just mentioned. The Nativo Social is also something very extreme and unique, and that is also of today's office user. They need the wellness and social component of it. That will be in floors 8, 9, and 10. Floors 5, 6, 7, and 8 are our office condos. That's where the inventory of the offices will be situated. So floors 5, 6, 7, and 8. Parking are on levels 2, 3, and 4. And then the retail is all on the lower floor with a restaurant. And I'll show you a little floor plan of this, and the arrival and the lobbies and everything to all of our components are on level 1. Okay. Now, what is a quick overview is, obviously, this is a nice little rendering of the actual component of the office, where you see a zoom in of the office component. We're located in Nativo, Miami. We have 127 creative office condos, 130,000 square feet of sellable space. Downtown Miami, I mentioned the address, 51 stories, and we have 5, 6, 7, and partial of 8 are the levels of the office components. And our sizes is a very interesting proposition for all of you agents, are from 431 to 2,500 square feet, 2,499. Because the prices, because of these sizes, we're able to go into pre-construction with some very affordable investments of 290,000. We go all the way up above 1.5 for the larger offices. So we really have, for pre-construction, which is a big demand right now, can you get me something that I don't have to have a buyer that wants to park $1 million? Or even if he does have the $1 million, he might want to split it up in 2 or 3 individual products. So here it is. You have products here from 290. Some of our office features, the most important thing that I want to really highlight here is delivered tenant ready, that first bullet point. That's not common. That's not at all normal in the office condo world. In offices, you are literally always delivered a raw shell with no flooring, just 4 walls, not even an air conditioner. You have to buy the air conditioner handler and install this in there. So we will be delivering these ready. So in what that means is, your client who purchases, the day that he closes, he could bring his desk, his furniture, and start using his office day 1. It will be delivered with polished concrete floors, which is a very nice new industrial look of today's design or creative thinkers, creative users. It'll be an exposed ceiling with decorative lighting. It'll have your air conditioner handlers in there, and it'll have an open floor plan space. So if anything, maybe you want to go ahead and build out that partition of the manager's office or the principal's office. That's it. If you care for about open floor plans, you might not even have to do that. Some units have private balconies, and we do have 3 exclusive elevators just for the office component, so we don't share with the hotel, and I'll show you that later in the floor plans or with the residences. Some of our units are obviously corner units. I'll have wraparound glass windows, 13-foot high ceilings. Another important factor, allows a lot of light in, makes the room look a lot spacier. So also a very nice differentiator for us at Creative is that we have 13-foot high ceilings. Obviously sound impact windows, advanced technology, like I mentioned before, for all your top of the line wiring and data lines. We do have the air conditioning that I mentioned that will be included in all the residences, and you can combine units. In offices, you could combine units much easier than you could combine in residential. Remember, these are just 4 walls, so you could buy 2 floor plans, open them up, and you have a bigger office. Very nice representation of our lobby. And this gives you a nice look and feel of today's kind of design as well. A lot of organic material, like I mentioned, some vertical gardens in the background, just very spacious and very high lobby with some beautiful lighting and wood millwork on the ceiling, and then just a lot of, kind of like a polished concrete type of flooring. So, and some ambient lightings along the edges of the lobby. So just a very nice representative. Actually, we just got these 2 days ago. So you're the first group that is able to see a representation of the look and feel of the lobby. And this next slide is a nice representation of the interiors or the hallways to arrive to your entrances or your doorways to enter into your spaces. So here you see some polished concrete. The actual doors will be glass with nice black framing with a nice wide door and then an extra side panel on it. Again, I mentioned some very nice ambiance lighting and just beautiful, beautiful decor of today's type of look and feel. And then on the interior, you could see what I mean about exposed decorative ceiling and polished concrete floors. That's how they will be delivered. And these 13-foot high ceilings and nice glass from floor to ceiling will allow a lot of that natural light and make your office really feel like you're actually outdoor but being indoor. So very nice, again, brand new rendering. We just received them, so happy to share that with everybody. This is the landings, the elevator landings. Concrete floors, you have the rugs for a little sound impact or deadening, and then beautiful, beautiful ambiance lighting, very nice wood millwork on the ceilings, and then again, beautiful steel kind of look and feel of the elevators and kind of concrete look and feel of the wall. So again, another beautiful rendering for you to kind of see how they will be delivered. This is a very good lobby level floor plan to show everybody the first level. So First Avenue, 6th Street, right over here on this corner, you're gonna have about an 8,000 to 9,000 square foot open space that'll be like a local market and restaurant. We're gonna announce who that's gonna be very soon, but think of La Centrale at Brickell City Center where you have a nice little open shopping center for groceries. You could go downstairs, pick up your groceries, and at the same time, it will be a restaurant. So this whole area will be that local market and restaurant. Colonnade, which was a beautiful walkway. You have a nice share ride drop-off area. So for Uber and Lyft, dedicated share ride area right here. And then you enter, if you're driving, and you have your drop-off area for the HQ office lobby and for the Nativo Miami hotel and residential component. So very important here, Nativo Residential and Hotel has 6 individual elevators that are exclusive for that component. Creative HQ has its own 3 elevators. There is no mix. There's no mix, no workflow working in here or no tourist working in here. So extremely important, and that's very important for office users. And over here, you're seeing the service elevator with the service drop-off. So moving and anything won't interrupt your daily elevator usage. And then extremely important in the blue, that's the actual Metro Mover. So you are literally stopping at the Freedom Tower stop and you're able to get off the Metro Mover and walk right in. If it's raining, you won't get wet. You'll go right into Creative HQ. So eliminate the car usage. You have Metro Mover that'll take you right into the doorsteps of HQ. Okay. Now here is very exciting part. Like I mentioned, typical buildings, a lobby, restrooms, and maybe a gym. That's your typical office buildings. Well, at Nativo, we are part of Nativo Social. Like HQ has access to Nativo Social, which is 70,000 square feet of curated amenities. Think of this, and when you're gonna see it, think of this as the new business-minded, members-only social club that we've never had. South Florida has never had. You see these in New York and in Chicago and LA, where you finish work and what membership are you, or what club are you a member of, where you could go network, you could go to happy hour, you could go to dinner, or you could go work out. Well, that's what Nativo Social will be. 70,000 square feet of amenities. How is it made up of? Floors 8, 9, and 10. On floor 8, 10,000 square feet is a part of called The Work. The Work is, think of it as a business center, kind of like a WeWork, very nice, very beautiful designs, which will have co-working spaces, private offices, flexible arrangements, video capable conference rooms, quiet rooms, phone booths. You'll have a coffee bar, amphitheater, and a lot of things. So you could have your office and still go into this business center and have use of The Work if you want to go ahead and reserve one of these conference rooms, which is the floor plan shows it right there. So imagine you have your office on the 8th, 5th, 6th, or 7th floor. You could use one of these conference rooms that are along the edges and have your own meeting in there. You reserve that. You have a nice coffee bar for a break, nice little coffee area. You have an amphitheater over here where if you want to do stage style seating, seminars, phone booths, if you just really want to get away and have a private conversations, you have phone booths all over the place. You have a nice little open area conference rooms, and then you have a nice open flow with bench style desks, and you have a living room lounge area with a TV if you just want to bring your laptop and just relax in the living room and kind of integrate with people. So you have this 10,000 square feet of the work on the 8th floor. The 9th floor is the component of the social component of Nativo Social. The Nativo Social is 24,000 square feet of the social component, which are made up of specialty restaurants and bars, dining terraces, cocktail bar for happy hours, coffee, drink, dine, and work lounge areas. You have media lounge. You have live show and events lounge with the stage for live bands. You have speakeasies, DJ booths, and programmed events. And then also on that 9th floor, you have the component that's called the Splash. The Splash is the outdoor part, which is 16,000 square feet on that 9th floor that has a resort style pool. It has a lap pool for exercise, cabanas, pool cabanas, hammocks, sun deck, landscape swim out, Nativo tropical landscaping, live performance dune, and pool bar and pool tower services. So, and here's a nice representation, a nice rendering of that pool that I was mentioning. You can see the lap pool in the back and the resort style area, the sun deck areas and the cabanas in over here, and a beautiful view towards the east of Miami in the Bay. And then this is a floor plan to show you how that would look. So you have the splash area, which I'd mentioned, the lap pools after you work, you're tired, you want to go exercise, or before work. And then your resort style swim in and swim out, and cabanas and you know, all types of, you know, just pool services and pool and towels and everything. In here, you have the social part, which is after hours, have a little happy hour, you have a bar area, you have indoor social room and dining and lounging areas, little speakeasy for your own little private events if you want to just have your own little dinner. And then you have your own live show and events lounge with a stage in here as well. So you might want to hire a live band or anything you want, you could have it in here for your corporation's, your business's end of the year party. You could have it right at your building. And then you have a porch area, which is just a bunch of dining and tables out here. And then you have a garden all the way on the west, which is tropical landscape, you know, very, very full of landscaping, seating areas for you just to escape or bring your laptop out there or just to socialize, okay? So this is all on the 9th floor. And then the 10th floor is our wellness component. It's called the Fit. The Fit is all our health and wellness freaks. We have everything here. You have a juice bar, you have yoga, you have Peloton, you have Pilates, boxing, weigh station, CrossFit, spa and saunas, locker rooms. I mean, it is a full gymnasium that you probably won't find in a gymnasium in and of itself. We have it in an actual mixed-use project. So you see here the outdoor training. This is a track for outdoor running with stations, with exercise stations in between if you want to stop and work out in between while you're doing your run. You have an indoor yoga Pilates area for meditation, yoga, stretching. Peloton, which is extremely popular right now, which is your spinning studio. All our traditional workout people, you have your gymnasium here with all our traditional workout machines. This is cool, which is very, very unique now and new, which is this CrossFit. The CrossFit people like to do their CrossFit, they don't have to leave, or boxing ring for those MMA fighters or that type of training. So you have everything in there. You have lockers, showers, and changing areas. And then this whole light green area on the west is your spa and sauna and treatment rooms. So you have private treatment rooms, you have spas, you have saunas, jacuzzis, changing areas, and you have your little reception for the spa and sauna room. And then you have a juice bar here. And last but not least, you can't forget the kids. If you want to bring them over, they have a place to play while you're working out. The juice bar, organic juices, protein shakes, everything on this 10th floor. So you have the 8th, 9th, and 10th floor of just amenities of 70,000 square feet. And again, think of it as the new hotspot in Miami. Where is the business-minded people going to be? Well, right smack in downtown, members only, you will have access to Nativo Social. Here's a good description or a good representation of the floor plans and what we're offering. In commercial or in offices, it's really, really flexible. You could see here, I have sizes from 500 square feet all the way up to 2,400 square feet on the corners over here. So very, very flexible. I've mentioned before, you could buy 2 units and make them one. As you see here on unit 512 and 513, you could just make one, which if you want to use some terraces, some of our units have terraces. Some are corner units will wrap around. They all have floor to ceiling windows and glass. And here are 3 dedicated elevators. You come out to the lobby. Each floor will have their restroom, and each floor will have an amenity and lounge area. And that amenity and lounge area are going to be fitted to be a conference room in one floor, a lounge area on a second floor, and another conference room on the 7th floor. So 5, 6, and 7 will have these dedicated areas. So what does that mean? If you have a small unit and you don't want to build out a conference room in your unit, go ahead and use the conference room here. So you could literally just go ahead and reserve it, use it here, and that way you have more space that you're using inside, and you don't have to go as big as buying a bigger unit with its own private office room. So you have that. And on the 6th floor, it'll have kind of, well, sorry, this one will have kind of like a social room. So it'll be kind of like a lounge living room setting with a TV where you just want to go and take your break and have a little microwave or something there to cook and sit down and eat during your lunch break. So each floor has its own meeting rooms and lounge areas aside from the Nativo Social that I mentioned, the 8th, 9th, and 10th floor. And again, just to emphasize, all different types of styles and sizes, again, from 290,000 up, from as small as 430 square feet. A little bit about us. I mentioned it at the beginning, but we represent One Commercial, which is the commercial arm of One Sotheby's, but we have done very successful projects in condo offices in the past in Aventura, which is Aventura Park Square. We represented 100,000 square feet of office space there and 40,000 square feet of medical office, successful sellout. Forum Aventura, which you see here, also in Aventura, it's another 100,000 square feet, successful sellout over there, and already sold and closed on both of these projects. So we have a lot of experience in the commercial industry. For a lot of our residential brokers, don't be shy. Send this out to your buyers and your investors. They've probably been asking you, do you have something separate than residential? Give me a little something so I could diversify my investments. Do you have something commercial? This is perfect because they'll probably understand offices. If they have any knowledge, we understand the commercial language. So we have done a lot of these products. We know exactly what the questions they're going to ask us. Don't worry, hand them off. We'll work with you side by side. Another huge important part of the team are our architects, Arquitectonica. We probably take them for granted over here, but they're probably one of the largest and most well-known architect firms in the world. Brickell City Center, I mean, you can't get much better than that. Regalia over here in Sunny Isles, and just top projects all around the world. Arquitectonica is a very, very well-respected architect. Urban Robots is in charge and been commissioned to do all our interiors, and I showed you some of the renderings. They're very well known. They've done very well-known projects as well, but they've been really inspired by bringing a lot of the outdoor in, using a lot of outdoor, a lot of organic woods, a lot of landscapes, some of those vertical gardens that I mentioned. So it's kind of like a mood board of what they've done, but they are extremely, extremely well-known firm. They have offices in New York and in Miami, and they will be doing our interior designs. Now, here's where we're at. We're at a very early stage of the purchasing options for Creative HQ, the deposit schedule. Right now, we're in the reservation agreement, and it's only requiring a 10% for reservation. We will probably be in that stage, you know, God knowing how long we're going to be in this crisis, during this crisis, but we'll probably come right out of that and go right into contract. So I would say anywhere between 4 weeks to 8 weeks that we'll probably be converting to contract. 10%, the next 10% is due at that contract, which I mentioned will probably be around that time, around that 4 to 8 weeks of the purchase agreement. Another 10% is when we're groundbreaking, which we're really, really pushing. And thanks to the success of Nativo, they've already done an amazing job of getting this product out of the ground and meeting a lot of the lending and a lot of the criteria to get that going. We're looking to probably get into the ground between August and September. So it's quick. This is not a product that you're going to be in reservation for a year, which we've heard some of those while they're, picking up steam. No, we're already there. And then the last 10%, a total of 40% at the pour of the buyer's floor. So if your buyer is on the 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th floor, we will ask them for that 10% when we pour the concrete of that floor. So if you notice, it's only 40%. In residential, you typically are asked for 50, even sometimes 60% upfront in deposits. In commercial, or in this product, we're asking for 40. That's a great, great incentive for investors that probably don't want to use all their capital during construction. And then the last 60% is due at closing. And then there's financing options, and some people will go ahead and close cash, or there is financing options in the commercial offices as well. So this is a little bit about the deposit schedule. That kind of wraps up trying to keep it at a good time frame. It's 2:40, which is what I was shooting for, around 40 minutes to talk to everyone. I don't know, Natalia, if you've had any questions in the chat or anything that has to be addressed, Natalia, but if not, then I just wanted to thank everybody, and then we'll open it up for questions. We'll let go of the mics.
Not in the chat yet. I have been receiving some messages via WhatsApp. I also want to let everyone know that we just sent a thank you email with all of the information. So you should be receiving that in the next 5 to 10 minutes. If you don't see it in your inbox, please check the spam just in case it could land there. So please just double check. And any questions, please feel free to reach out to us via the chat or directly to our emails.
Okay. Could we take off is everybody on mute, or could we unmute just in case anybody wants to speak? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to do that. I guess it's not, that doesn't allow you.
I think I can do it. Let me see. No.
No? So unfortunately we can't, because it's a webinar, so we can't use it. But again, so for the agents, one thing that I'm surprised nobody's asking is the commissions. So we are at a very good, for commercial, we're paying 5% total commission, which is a very good, we pay it in a very accelerated way. We pay 35% of that 5% when we go to the purchase contract, which is when the buyer's at 20% deposit and they've signed their purchase agreement. So 35% of that 5% commission, we are going ahead and giving it at that stage. Then another 20% of that 5% commission is given when we break ground and we collect the next 10%. And then another 20% is given when we collect the next 10%, and it's at the concrete pour of the buyer's floor. So we're given 3 advances, which are all between this 20%, 10, 10 of 35, 20, and 20. That total is 75% of your 5% commission is advanced, leaving you with only 25% at closing. Typical products usually are 33, 33, and 33, which gives you a 66% advance. We're given 75%. And then we also have some incentives per office, which I could discuss offline with a lot of the office buildings. I mean, broker offices, where depending on the amount of units or sales, there's an increase in incentive to increase that commission. So that's a little bit on commission. It's a very, very, and again, you're only asking for 40% from your buyers, and we're still advancing a lot of that commission in advance to the broker community. Okay.
And Ivan, I would like to add, if everybody could please, I know you mentioned this at the beginning, but if they can follow us on social media, on our Instagram, which is @creativehqmiami.com, because like you just show new renders and images on the interior. So we're going to be constantly updating everybody on news about the project.
Absolutely. So I'm surprised there's no questions. It must be that we covered everything.
I
Yes.
have Randy that is helping here, and he says that people can raise their hands, and on the left they can unmute themselves. So,
I guess I don't have that option. I'm not seeing that.
no, but Randy, can you try to unmute yourself and see if that works? Please. And then I have Jorge. He's asking if contract is estimated in the next 4 to 6 weeks.
So yes, obviously right now that's a little bit of a target that we're also monitoring what we're going through right now. So we're being sensitive to that. So our contracts and our condo docs, they're going to be ready in the next 2 weeks. So the actual physical contracts, purchase agreement, and condo docs will be ready between the next 2 to 3 weeks. It's just a matter of when we do it, you know, managing what we're going through right now. So, but again, my guesstimate would probably be in that 4, 6, 8 week based on, you know, how quickly we get through this.
Hey, I'm just testing this out to see if you guys can hear me as Natalia wanted. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're perfect. Go right ahead.
Okay. I don't have a question. She just wanted me to test it out. So that's it. But you just hit the microphone button and then that will turn green and then you can speak.
Sure. So anybody want to ask any questions, you could hit your button and go ahead and speak out loud. I guess not.
Diego, yes, I have Diego. Diego is asking. He says, I probably missed, but what is the estimate of the cost of the HOA?
Great question. So in commercial, and I'm going to give you two numbers because some people like to, you know, in residential, they think about it on a monthly basis. In commercial, it's a yearly basis. So on the commercial world, $8.30 per square foot yearly, which is your CAM. And that equates to 0.69 cents per square foot monthly. So 69 cents if you're thinking of it on a monthly basis, $8.30 on a yearly basis. And that is our maintenance fees. I also see here something that I forgot to mention. I'll just mention that. The levels 2, 3, and 4 are parking. In condos or in offices in Brickell and downtown, you obviously know how difficult it is to have parking available. Actually, some office towers don't even have parking on site, and you got to go off site and rent at parking garages. We have the luxury of having 3 parking spaces right to use per 1,000 square feet. So that is a huge, huge benefit as well, that we have actual parking on site and you have the allowance of 3 per 1,000 square feet. Now, that also means that we really feel there's going to be a lot less demand of parking because we're right next to the Metro Mover and Brightline. So we're going to have a lot of people that are either in the downtown Brickell area that are either walking, scooters, Metro Mover, or maybe even Uber or Lyft because we have that drop-off station. But again, we do have 3 per 1,000 square feet. If anybody you know, wants to know the parking ratio. Okay, so I think we'll wrap it up. I just wanted to thank everybody for attending. We do have everybody's email. We're going to be sending you the presentation and continue to keep you updated on all Creative HQ updates. Again, follow us on social media. My name was Ivan Ramirez. You could also contact me, Natalia, which is the Director of Sales. She's available 24/7. And then we also have Liz Benitez, which is probably doing another presentation. It's been extremely busy, is also available. So, and when we get back to normalcy, we'll be back in our sales center, which is in smack in the middle of downtown, and we'll share all that information and addresses and phone numbers. But in the meantime, look forward, stay healthy, stay safe, and thank you for attending Creative HQ Miami. Bye-bye, everyone.